Why are all the men leaving from the West, from America, Great Britain, France, and going to Africa to find women? Are there no women in the West? Are they not good enough? What exactly is going on here, guys? Why are the men leaving the women? Especially here in America. Men are leaving the women and going to Africa to find women. What's going on, guys? Folks, I want to thank you once again for clicking on this video. This is the Migration Podcast. And as ever, I am your host, Bala Kima. We're going to have a quick conversation. This one is going to be very brief. Actually, I'm going to premise this conversation based on a video. I will play, a video of a lady in the Philippines. And she kind of chronicled a lot of the Western women, mostly American women, and some of the things that they usually say. And I want to use that video as the backdrop for this conversation, folks, because this is a serious business. Men are leaving from America in droves on a weekly basis, going to other parts of the world, especially Africa, Philippines, Brazil, Colombia, to find their brides. What's going on with the Western women? The women here in America are hardworking. They're hardworking. They take care of their families. They do all the right things you will expect a man to yearn for in a woman. So why are these men leaving? I've heard some guys say hypermasculinity. That's a big word. Hypermasculinity, meaning the women act like men too much, so they're afraid. What's the real problem here, guys? I want you to take a look at it, a small segment of this video, and then we'll be right back to talk about it.
I was at a Whole Foods table outside, minding my business at night, and this black guy decides to hand me a hormone balance brochure. I think he wanted to talk to me under the guise of giving me some promotional information,
Oh no, not the old hormone brochure trick. Those nasty men with their pocket full of pamphlets. They're just trying to get you nice and fertile before they can take advantage of you. Run, lady, run!
I think it's a guise for what men like to do to get a woman's attention. Men seem to like to get a woman's attention.
Yes, men like to get a woman's attention. How else are they gonna get you to read the brochure? So it surprises you that guys have to get a woman's attention in order to talk to her?
Like, as if they're entitled to that attention. It's not so much shooting a shot as it is entitlement. Sometimes you just got to let people be. It's not like you passing up the moment of the best thing that you could have ever had in your life at a gas station.
Oh, I see. They're entitled to it. So if a guy dares to interact with you, he's automatically entitled. But they wouldn't try to shoot their shot until after you've had your hormones anyway, right? So you're safe. And what's wrong with gas stations? Unless guys are walking up and saying stuff like, "Can I fill your tank?" That's just as good as anywhere else to meet somebody. Okay, so rule number 1, do not approach a woman to talk to her. Okay, got it.
I have a question for you guys. What's going on with guys not approaching women anymore?
Wait a sec. The last lady said,
Like, if I make eye contact with you and you're checking me out and you're staring at me for like 10 minutes, I don't know, maybe stop being creepy and come up and say hello?
so if they're creepy and staring at you from a dark corner for 10 minutes, you want them to come up and say hello?
I don't know. Food for thought? Like, why aren't you guys approaching women anymore?
Because you tell them not to?
Like, I was at a bar.
Of course you
and
were.
everyone is in their own groups, not approaching strangers. Like, not one guy, not even just for me, not one guy went up to a girl and just started talking to her. It was so weird. And I'm like, how am I supposed to meet people?
Well, you're a strong, independent woman, right? Why is it the man's job to make the first move? Wouldn't that be entitled?
Wow, that's pretty stunning, isn't it? I think, in my opinion, okay, when you watch this video, okay, and as you know, I'm gonna play it further as we go along, in this short, very brief, podcast. When you watch the video, there seems to be a disconnect from reality of most of these women in this video. It seems like they have a connection with some outer body, outer worldly type of ideology, as compared to the normal way of thinking. It's mind-boggling. It blows your mind. I tend to see why most of these men are leaving, because these women have expectations that are not real, and they themselves are not meeting their end of the bargain. What's going on with Western women, folks? Why are the men leaving and going to places like Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Ghana? Some of you going to Liberia, South Africa, Mexico, Colombia, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Philippines, to find their brides. And most of these men are saying, we're not leaving because we hate the women in America. The women are great in America. But we're leaving for one reason. And we're gonna get to that reason very shortly as we watch some more clips. I want you to look at, one or two more clips. And just look at these young women as they express what they really think about how a man should act in a relationship, what they expect from a man. I want you to watch these and see if you find any connecting dots. Well, because we're going to try to connect the dots here, folks, because it is becoming a pandemic. To see how Western men are leaving their women here and going to other parts of the world, especially black men, brothers. Brothers are going to Africa. Now, I got no problem with that. Going to Africa, yeah, especially sub-Saharan Africa, to a large extent, you're dealing with black women there too. So nothing's wrong with that in my mind. But what is the basis for that? Why would you want to travel nearly 4,000 to 5,000 miles just to find a woman when you can find very beautiful, gorgeous, amazing women right here in these United States of America? As a matter of fact, to a large extent, very highly, or maybe to a very significant extent, I should say, not to a large extent, but to a very significant extent, most of these women are very highly accomplished. They're well off, they have money, they have their homes, some of them have businesses, but yet these men are still leaving to go and find women in Africa. What is the problem? Are these women here in America not good enough? Are they not wifey material? Do they not meet your criteria, guys? What's up, brothers? Now, for me, I have no problem with that. I love the women here. I have no problem. But my brothers tend to think differently. There's something's going on here. We're going to have to try to figure it out. Let's try to figure out why these men, because these guys are not wicked men. They're not evil. So there's got to be a reason. So why are they going to find their wives in some instances, or mostly, girlfriends? Why are they saying we prefer the women in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa mostly, to women in America? Why are they saying that? We prefer black women in sub-Saharan Africa to black women in America. Most of them are crying, saying these women are too hyper masculine. They don't listen. They argue too much. They fight. They talk back. They're disrespectful. But is that really the fact? But even if that were to be the fact, what caused that to happen? We're going to have to dig into all of this, guys, because I don't think, if in fact, like you were making the case that these women are argumentative or they're rude, they're disrespectful, there has got to be a reason, if that's the fact. Are we complicit as men, as black men? Are we also complicit as black men? Are we meeting up to our ends of the bargain? Or are we doing something that's causing these women to be like this? Because I don't think any right person in their right mind would just get up one day and say, I'm going to be disrespectful to my man. I'm going to be rude. I'm going to be all of this stuff that you claim they are. It's got to be a reason. Are black men meeting up to their ends of the bargain? And if they are, then why are they leaving? If they're meeting up their ends of the bargain, then why aren't the women meeting up to their end of the bargain? Something's going on here, guys. I mean, you can't tell me the women in Africa are more beautiful than the black women in America. I think they're all equally beautiful. You can't tell me the women in sub-Saharan Africa are more loyal or are more respectful than the women here in America. So what is the disconnect? Well, check out this clip real quick and I'll be right back.
We need feminism because a man in a room full of women is ecstatic, while a woman in a room full of men is terrified.
Western women are terrified of being in a room full of men? What do they do to you in those rooms? Do they, talk to you? And a man in a room full of women is ecstatic? You've obviously never been in a room full of gossiping Filipinos. What else you got?
I like that men have trust issues because we wear makeup, and the rest of us have trust issues because men try to kill us in the street.
Men try to kill you in the street? What the heck is going on over there? Are there piles of bodies in the road? Like they have to use a big snowplow to push all the dead women to one side so you evil men can go for your morning jog? Things are worse than I thought. Rule number 3, don't slaughter women in the street. Got it.
Isn't it interesting when men have women in their lives, young women like daughters, cousins, nieces?
Not particularly. We have plenty of those.
And they attempt to justify boasting about their daughters, cousins, nieces, blah, 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 any young female in their life by getting them into hyper masculine or things that they associate to be masculine things like, oh, she's a scrapper, we'll get her into MMA,
No, I didn't know. The men are taking their daughters and making them fight each other and turning them into men. I had that all backwards. I heard that you were taking your men and turning them into little girls. You just can't trust the news these days.
They have to put her into some sort of little masculinity box in order to approve of her, in order to boast about her.
And they put them in little boxes? Masculinity boxes? I've heard about those. They're toxic. The poor things.
And the irony in that is that, they think they're not being sexist because they let them do boy things or teach them to do boy things. But it's all misogyny.
Misogyny. I knew it. So they won't love their little girls until they become men. Diabolical.
Okay, look. All right. Those are some real ridiculous and quite honestly disgusting expectations from these women, of these young women you just watched in the video. But I'll let you make your own judgment for yourself, right? But let's just come to this right here. Let's talk about why I think some of the men, most black men, are leaving to go to Africa to find their brides, or to find women, or to whatever. They wanted to go and just have girlfriends, just have fun, get around. Let me tell you why I think this is happening. All right. Number one, I don't believe that this is necessarily a rejection of the women in America. I think this is a rejection of Western culture, the Western culture. I think these men are looking for an opportunity to get in touch with the way things should be, the natural way things should be. And the culture in the West is very hyper capitalized, right? Everything is about money and the hustle. And you find that a lot of these women are ending up as single mothers, having to take care of their homes, take care of the children, having to provide for the children. So as a result, they are taking on unnatural roles. They are taking on the roles that the masculine is supposed to actually take on. And as a result, you will find that naturally they will start to become a little bit masculine, because now they are thinking about protection, providing for the family. All the things that should be the concern of a man are becoming the concern of these women. So I think it makes sense that, over time you will see that natural sort of mutation into becoming masculine because they have to provide for their children, have to provide for themselves. They are working, or whether they have a business, they are working hard on their business. And they also have to raise the kids, take care of the family, cook for the kids. As a result, you find them having to be tough. Then on top of all of that, these women are perpetually having to deal with heartbreak. Because while they're doing these things, some of them are dating, and these guys are playing around with them. And also, this is the one that is really going to be very scary. You know, there are statistics out there right now that in America, perhaps matter of fact, in the entire world, but especially in America, you have a ratio of women to men. I think it's about 8 women to 1 man. Now that alone can be a problem. So these women are also having to deal with that kind of hyper competition because they have to compete for these men, especially highly deserved men. They're having to compete for these men. So as a result, they're facing that, the stress and frustration that comes along with that, on top of the fact that they're being played by my brothers. I know that. That's happening. So now they having to deal with providing for the family as a single mother, working so hard at her job or on her business, having to provide for the children, raise the kids, do all these things. Then they're having to compete out there in a dating market, the very, very highly aggressive dating market. It's not easy for women out there because men are in short supply. There is a shortage of men, especially good men. And women are having to compete for men because the numbers are just not in the favor of women. Let's be honest, folks. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just a fact. The numbers don't look good for women. So they're having to face all of these things. So it's a lot of problems going on. But now, our brothers, they call them the passport bros to a large extent. They're getting their passports and they're leaving. They're going and finding women in other places and posting it all on social media. Trying to put it up in the face of these women here in America. I don't think that's fair, brothers. I think these women are going through too much. As a result, it causes them to have that kind of survival mindset, right? Survival of the fittest. You have to be a damn masculine if you're going to have to work or run your business and then provide for the family, and then come home and having to cook and raising these kids and doing all these things. And then you have to worry about your own protection in a society, especially like America, where there's a lot of gun violence and all that stuff. These women are having to face a lot. And you have to take care of changing your own car oil, making sure your car is serviced. All of these things that normally a man would have to take care of. These women are having to take care of these things. And so as a result, you see what happens. They are having to be masculine. So you don't expect them to be so feminine. And you go into Africa. Most of these women, I'm from Africa. I'm from there. Very proud to be an African. From Liberia. Okay? But most of these women in Africa are not different from the women here in America. The only reason why you may be experiencing what you call loyalty, if it actually is, or whatever, is because, brother, you're bringing your hard-earned money. Try becoming extremely successful in America, super successful. You will find loyal women here as well. Because if you're providing for a woman, which is the natural way it should be, taking care of her and she's home and not having to go to work or going to run the business and all that stuff, you're taking care of your business as a man, you will find loyal women right here in America as well. But you can easily find that in Africa because these women need your money. To a large extent, a lot of you guys are being played. You don't even know you're being played big time. These women are just eating your money. You go there for the few months you go there and you maybe on long distance. Now, I'm not saying that this doesn't work. Some people are finding real love on the continent. I know a lot of brothers. You see them all the time. They're proud of their wives and they go over there and get married. And I like that because at the end of the day, you're still going to get married to a black woman in Africa. So that's fine. Even if you go married to a white person, whatever. The fact of the matter is you're finding love, right? But to a large extent, a good 80% of these women are not as loyal as you think they are. I'm from Africa, okay? They just need your money because they're struggling. They don't have the kinds of opportunities that Western women have, American women. They can decide to run their own business, get a career, very outstanding, wonderful career. They can do these things. A lot of the women in Africa cannot. So you will find loyalty, because if you're going over there, taking care of a woman, making her feel good, put her in a nice house or an apartment or whatever, open up a business for her, she's going to be loyal to you to the extent that loyalty lends itself to be, to be a thing of reality. If you know what I mean. She's going to be just as loyal to you. But trust me, you're not the only man, to a large extent. You're not going to be the only guy hitting it. There's going to be some other guys. Someone over there is also tapping that. That's not just you. That's just the reality of things, brother. So I understand you got the passport bro thing going on, and more power to you. I like to see a lot of more black men traveling the world and especially experiencing your native land of Africa. That's amazing. But I don't think that's a reason to start throwing shade at these women here in America. These women are having to go through a lot. If you flip the script, that's why you see all the time. When you bring a woman from Africa, it happens on a perpetual basis. You bring a woman from Africa, and it ain't no time she starts to act like the women here. Because why? She's adapting to her natural environment. That's just what it is. It's just like you. Most of you guys, you have to change. You have to adapt to the way of life, right? So they come here and they adapt naturally, especially when they're faced with these same kinds of circumstances that women here in the West are faced with on a perpetual basis, having to survive, having to fight for survival and safety and security. That's a man's job to provide for the family. God damn it. A lot of you guys not even doing it. You sit on the damn couch all day, watch video game and smoke weed. That's all you do. And then, you're so damn lazy, you're doing nothing in the West. And then you jump up, get your passport. Now you go to Africa and start talking negative and down to our women here. It's my women. The women in Africa are also our women. I love all of them. But you don't deserve the right to talk down to Western women like you do. Passport bros. You over there passing around the place. Do your thing. Have fun. Go travel. Meet women. That's fine. But don't you be out here talking negative to the women here in America. I think you guys are the weak ones. For those of you that are doing it. Some of you are doing it legitimately. Now, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I do understand. Sometimes the women out here got some mouth on them. I'm telling you now, women in the West, especially in America, they got some mouth on them. They just don't know when to shut up sometimes. Sometimes you just got to know when to shut up. But they don't know. They don't seem to know. And it can be annoying to some brothers. This is a systemic thing, folks. It's not an individual thing. It's systemic, right? All this stuff that's going on is very systemic. And when you're fighting a system, you can't fight it on an individual basis. You have to fight it in a collective manner. You have to build a system to fight a system. You can't get an individual to fight a system, because that individual stands no chance. So it's a bigger picture than just talking down to the women here in the West. There's a whole lot going on with them. They're having to face a whole lot. Like I said, you see them, they have to work, or they have to go run their business. They have to take care of the children, take care of the family. Some have to take care of their parents. They have to send money to other people. These women are going through a lot, folks. So guys, you can't just keep throwing shade at them. And like I said, you be misleading yourself to think by going to Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, which I love to see you do. I want you to go there. Matter of fact, I want you to move there, go live there. But you think these women in Africa are better than the women here. You're lying to yourself. They're not. The women are the same everywhere on earth. The major distinction between they and the women here is that the ones in Africa and other places where you go and floss and all that stuff, which is cool. I like to see that. Matter of fact, I like to see you guys having a good time, to be honest with you. I'd be jealous sometimes when I'm watching that stuff. But you think for 1 second that these women are somehow better than the women in America. They're not better. Most of them don't have a job. They have nothing going on. They don't have a business. So they need your money. So they're going to be loyal to you. God damn it, if I were to go anywhere right now, I can meet damn near any woman I want to meet. Why? Because they're going to need my money. It's not necessarily because they're better than the women in the West or in America. They're not better. If you flip the script and bring them to America, they will do the same things. Because why? They are having to adapt. They're having to survive. It's survival of the fittest, guys. So to my passport bros, man, I love you guys and I like what y'all doing, getting out there, experiencing the motherland of Africa. But don't y'all for one damn second think the women that y'all meeting over there are better than the women in America. Absolutely not. It's not the case, folks. You got to be a damn dummy to think the women you're meeting in Africa are better. Oh, most of you, I see you, most of you say, oh, they're so loyal. They don't argue. There's a reason for that. They're not going to argue with you simply because you're giving them everything. But flip the script. Bring them in an environment like America, a very harsh and rough environment, a tough terrain like America, where they are now having to work or run the business and do all this extra stuff. They're going to have that added stress on them. The minute you bring some bullshit around them, they're going to clap back. It's normal. But they're going to have to be committed, or whatever you call it in Africa, or loyal. And trust me, like I said, they're not loyal to you alone, bro. You go over there, you spend your couple of thousands of dollars on them. By the time you leave, someone else is smacking that. Matter of fact, you could be there and they're still being smacked by other people there. They're just there to get what they can get from you. You've seen a lot of stories of brothers going to, for example, like the Philippines and all these places, and end up dying from heart attack because they're being played. But how the hell can you leave from a place like America and go to a place where the women are beautiful? All right? They are beautiful. We give that to them. But they're poor. And suddenly you expect, I tell people, if someone wants to prove to me that they love me, you have to be on my level financially, or you have to be higher. Unless we were building something together. But I'm not picking you up while you're poor. Especially for a woman. In a country where there's no opportunities. Because more than likely, I am being played. And that's what happened to a lot of y'all. Y'all go around and y'all get played. And y'all posting. Most of y'all don't even have the confidence enough to talk to women in America. Because the reason for that is because these women are owning stuff for themselves. So they have a higher level of intellect. I'm not saying they're smarter than these other women in Africa and other places, because that goddamn shit is not the fact. But I'm saying they understand a lot more things. So most of y'all don't have the confidence to even face them. That's why y'all run over there. And that's cool. Like I said, I'm one of the biggest advocates for saying my brothers going to Africa. I want y'all to go back home and see where y'all came from and connect with the people and touch the people and have a good time and eat the foods and enjoy the cultures. I want y'all to do all that. But this whole thing with y'all coming up with this passport bro stuff, which is awesome, by the way, but talking down to our sisters here in the West, y'all tripping. Y'all niggas are tripping. Y'all need to get it together fast. I like the fact that y'all going over there and meeting up with the sisters over there and y'all getting married and all that stuff. That's nice. I like that. But talking down to the women in the West, y'all tripping. Most of y'all doing that stuff couldn't even get it together here. Y'all know what we're talking about. Y'all didn't have anything going on. So you save up a few little $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and you go to Africa and you spend that money. Maybe some of you are investing. I hope you're investing over there, because Africa is about to be the place to be economically. All right? But I hope y'all investing. Why y'all over there spending money on these women? They will eat your money. You're not going to get a damn thing out of it. I'm not saying you're not going to find some good women. There are good women there. But the reason why there are a lot more loyalty, or what seems to be loyalty, because there's a major distinction between actual loyalty and the appearance of loyalty. So you might be experiencing the appearance of loyalty. I go to Africa a lot. I'm about to be there in a few months again. Okay? But like I said, the reason is because you are economically a little more competitive. Then even if you really want to know what the women are really about in any place you go, listen to the guys, the men who have to deal with them in those places. The men who live in these places. For example, if you go to Liberia, for example, and maybe you leave from America, you go to Liberia, Liberian girls are probably going to come to you. Why? Because number one, you're from America. Number two, you probably got some money. So, if you want to know if these women are really loyal, talk to a typical Liberian man who lives in Liberia, who has been in Liberia all his life, and have had to interact with these women. Ask him about the loyalty of these women. That's how you can really do you kind of like a litmus test to find out, or to kind of weigh out the loyalty of the women in Liberia, for example. I'm just using Liberia, for example, because that's where I'm from. And I love the hell out of that place. I can do anything. I love that place. And I'm going to go back there soon to live. I love it. I love Africa. But Liberia is my corner in Africa where I'm from. But even if Kenya women, for example, or Rwandan, or Ethiopian, those women are beautiful. My Gosh. And if you want to know the actual loyalty of an Ethiopian woman, talk to a typical Ethiopian man who has had to live his entire life in Ethiopia and have had to date these women, and find out from these guys, and you can understand the loyalty. Folks, it's common sense. If you were super wealthy in America, you will instantly find loyal women in America, because why? You're taking care of them. They don't have to work. They don't have to struggle. God damn it, they will be loyal to you. And that's the way it should be. The woman was not created. That's why she has estrogens and not testosterone. She's on the more emotional, softer side of things. She takes care of everything else. But you are the provider, the protector, and all of these things. Those two most important things, a provider and a protector. If a woman is having to do that, ultimately she is going to naturally adopt some masculine instincts. That's a normal thing. Now, I'm not trying to give a pass to these women. Sometimes y'all in the West, y'all need to know when to shut your damn mouths. Let's be honest. Y'all talk too damn much. You got to know, because your mothers also grew up here. Remember, you got your mothers and your grandmothers who are from here and didn't have this problem with y'all running y'all mouths, running up at the mouth at y'all men. Sometimes you got to know when to close your damn mouth. But the bigger picture here is my brothers need to rein themselves in. The passport bros. Matter of fact, I admire y'all. Most of y'all dudes, I admire y'all. Y'all out there doing y'all things, experiencing the world and enjoying. Sometimes I feel damn jealous, man. God damn it. I'm like, why am I not the one over there? Not from the standpoint of womanizing, but just being out there in Africa and touring the continent. That's amazing to see. So, folks, I want you to watch another part of this video, and then we'll get back and actually conclude here in a second. Check this out.
I'm sure we all already knew this by now, but old men are actually so fucking disgusting. Repulsive.
Well, no, I didn't know that, because I come from a culture where the elderly are treated with respect.
So I'm at work today, and this old man comes up directly behind me, like 3 inches behind me, and doesn't say anything until I turn around and I'm like, hi, and he goes, hi, is that your real hair? And at this point, I take a step away from him because he is in my bubble, okay, in my f***ing bubble. Anyways, I was like, yep, my real hair, and he goes, wow, it's so nice and long. It's not like that fake hair that they used to make their hair, those other girls used to make their hair longer, right? And I was like, no, it's my real hair, yep. Like, why is this man talking to me about my hair? It would have been fine if he was just like, you have nice, pretty hair, or whatever, and just went along about his fucking day, but it doesn't stop here.
So when old men stood too close to you and complimented your hair, why do you have the feeling if it was young and good looking, this wouldn't be an issue so far? Am I right?
And then he goes, wow, so it is real? Can I touch it? And then proceeds to start reaching for me and taking a step closer to me. So I take another step back. Said, no, you cannot touch my hair. I was very firm with this man.
Believe it or not, I hear the same thing all the time, sometimes even from old men. You have such beautiful long hair. Is that natural? And you know what I say? Thank you. And yes, it is. And if someone wants to touch it, that depends on where I am at the time. Like if it's a brightly lit public place, I might even say yes, especially to an old man who can't overpower me. So if you ever see me on the street and we start talking and you say, you have such amazing hair, can I touch it? I'll probably say, sure, as long as you don't start moaning as you caress it.
Okay, so you've seen this one more time. So listen, shout out to the lady in the Philippines who actually made this video. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put a link to her channel in a description below, so y'all can check her out. She's an amazing content creator. I just don't remember her name right now while I'm doing the video. But look, folks, there is a problem. These young women, I'm sorry. I've said what I had to say about the men, the passport bros, but let's be honest. The younger women that are coming up, they're lost. They are lost. But anyway, folks, look, I just want to encourage my brothers as you're traveling Africa and having a good time. Stop throwing shade at the women here in America. It's not fair. It is just not fair to them. All right, y'all. So, but let me know what y'all think about this this topic. Is it fair that passport bros are throwing negative shade at the women in America? Are they right to be judging these women and talking a lot of smack about them? Are they right to do that? Should they be doing that? We understand that the statistics are showing right now, which is a very scary stats for women. But here in America, it's the ratio of about 8 to 9 women to 1 man. It's not easy. It's a tough time. Good women can't find good men because of that kind of ratio. For some reason, there are a lot more women because men are dying faster and earlier. So you don't find men around so much, especially good men who are worth a good woman. You can't find them anymore. So it's a serious problem. But irrespective of all of that, I don't think my passport bros have the right to be talking down to these women in the West, especially here in America, because these women go through a lot. And the women here are so freaking beautiful. Y'all act like when y'all go to Africa and other places, and I'm not throwing shade. These women are beautiful in Africa too and other places. But the women in America are equally stunning. They're amazing. They are heavenly. They are adorable. Something to kill for. But y'all acting like they're ugly. They're not ugly. The only thing y'all say is their attitude is ugly. But there's a reason for their attitude. A lot of y'all lazy brothers, like I said earlier, sit on the couch all day, smoke weed, play video game. You ain't doing a damn thing in the house. She got to go out there and fetch for the family and come back. You expect her to be loyal to you for what? What are you doing? The men who got those kinds of loyalties back in the days, because y'all always say, oh, our forefathers, the women used to respect them. Well, that's because they were providing for their families, protecting their women. They weren't sitting on the damn couch all day, being so damn lazy, doing nothing, and then on social media all day, and you expect the woman to go work, come back home, and cook for your lazy little ass? Come on now. All right, folks, well, y'all let me think what y'all think about this video. Once again, I want to thank you for, watching this video. This is the Migration Podcast. And as ever, I am your host, Bala Kima. I want you to go ahead and click the like button so YouTube can also share this video. And I do like your subscription as well, so that will be awesome. But until the next one, I'll see you. Thank you. Bye-bye.